Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. Did you start working on the compass in Enchanted Forest? I'd love to know. This is the 4th day of daily coloring in the Enchanted Forest, and I'm working up the second half of the compass face. Check out the playlist if you want to follow along from the beginning. Otherwise, I've got some pencils sharpened and I'm ready to get started on this page. Join in and color along with me. Yesterday, I worked up the top half of the compass face. Today, I'm going to finish the bottom half of the compass face. Starting in the center with the light cadmium yellow, I filled in half of the center circle. I put more layers along the edge closest to the center and fewer layers in the middle part to be able to blend easily into the second color. Coming in with the cadmium yellow, I filled in the rest of the section, making sure to blend into the middle lightly so the colors would come together. I came back with the light cadmium yellow to finish the blending and fill in any spots I might have missed on the first pass. In order to make the next section feel like it is all part of the same gradient, I used the dark cadmium yellow at the edge of the first section, blending it into the cadmium yellow. I then filled in half of the next section with the dark cadmium yellow, adding more layers closer to the center edge and less towards the middle to create a smooth blend. I finished off this section with the dark chrome yellow, adding fewer layers in the middle than on the end. I again came back in with the dark cadmium yellow to finish the blend, fill in any missing spots, and smooth out the transition in colors. Again, I worked the next color along the edge of this section to create the illusion of it blending in under to the next section. I added in a light layer of the cadmium orange before moving on to the last but larger section. I'll be leaving the final section closest to the bezel alone for now. I began this section with the cadmium orange. I initially had 3 colors picked out for this section, but in the end I felt I needed a 4th color. After the dark chrome yellow, I came in with the orange glaze to fill in the middle of the section. This is a little different from how I filled in the top section, but in the end it doesn't really matter the order for these layers, so long as I leave enough space to blend in the light cadmium red into the orange glaze to make a gradient match the top section. After filling in the middle part with the orange glaze, I moved on to the light cadmium red to fill in under and around the vine and blending it into the orange glaze. I used more layers under the vines and fewer to blend it into the orange glaze. And as always, I use a light hand to make sure I am getting the amount of blending I want, as well as to ensure I am not crushing the tooth of the paper. came back in with the cadmium orange to blend into the orange glaze better. I then came in with the deep scarlet red to add in the final layer just along where the leaves lay and blended it into the light cadmium red. That leaves 1/4 of the compass face left to do. I began this last quarter with the cadmium yellow at the very center of the section, followed by the dark cadmium yellow, blending it into the cadmium yellow with a light hand. I then finished off the section with a light layer of dark chrome yellow to help make it look like the gradient continues under the branch. The second section begins with the dark cadmium yellow. I used fewer layers in the center and more layers near the branch. The dark chrome yellow finishes off this section with more blending with the dark cadmium yellow to bring the two colors together. I used the cadmium orange along the dashes to set up for the next and final section. Once I have that layer in place, I hopped over to the third section, colored a third of it with the cadmium orange. I used the light cadmium red along the parts with the vines and leaves. With the orange glaze, I can now blend these two colors together to create a smooth gradient. I finished off the section with the deep scarlet red coming under the leaves. This finishes off the background of the face of the compass. Tomorrow I'll have a video from World Within Worlds, but I'll be resuming this compass on Monday to finish up the little parts within the compass face. I hope you've been following along and enjoying the new format. Let me know below. I'd love to hear how your compass is coming along. I have my social media links below. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put in a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of equipment I like to use. If you use any of the affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all of my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. That will only happen if you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, happy coloring!